reach down, 1, 2, 3, to your right, to your left, center, inhale, exhale, hands up, reach down, 1, 2, 3, to your right, to your left, center, inhale, exhale. Okay, again, one more time, hands up, reach down, 1, 2, 3, to your right, to your left, center, inhale, exhale. Okay, hands in your waist, circular movements. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2. Reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Center. Cross knees. Circular movements. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1. Reverse. Switch hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, and stop. Center. Hands on your waist, neck turning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, and stop. Back and forth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Center. Tilt. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Center. Rotating. 1, 2, 3. Reverse. 1, 2, 3. Center. Hands up, pull in, inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, spread your feet. Turn your shoulders. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, and stop. Okay, stretch it out. switch, 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 straighten front knee, switch, 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 one more time, switch, center, Okay, we shake it out. Okay, hands up. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. in your waist. Shoulder roll. Reverse. Good balance. And the center. Okay, press, release, exhale, inhale. Actually, the camera's on. It's on. There's green lights on. Exhale, inhale. And stop. Hands up, pull in, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Okay, wrists. And center. Okay, other direction. And now, palms down, bigger circle. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and stop. Okay, shift from side to side. Okay, center, we're going to lift. switch one more time. Okay, now insert needle. So like this, right foot forward, up and down. And center switch. And down, up. And center. Okay, shake it out. Hands up, inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, leg swing. And center. Switch. And center. Side to sides. Switch. And center. Good. Shake it out. Hands up. Fold. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, silk grilling. Hold the ball forward and back. Switch. center, open and close. So your right foot's forward, weighted on the back side. Left leg has most of the weight. Switch. Okay, center, circular movements. Okay, lower hoop. Shoulder height. palms down. Lower, palms down. Extend. Deep breathing, inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Okay, diagonal flying. Switch. And center. Okay, cloud hands. Okay, palms down. Lift up. Carry tiger to the mountain. Okay, Sana, infinity sign. And Sana. Form the fists. Okay, Sana. Palms together, strum the lute. Okay, draw the bow. So when we draw out, try to flatten the wrist so don't have it bent like that. Lift the shoulders, straighten the wrists. So and Sana. Okay, fan through the back. Okay, raise the hand. Okay, palms down. Deep breathing. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay. So how do we feel? Okay. So we'll go through the sequence and then we'll see what we need to work on. Go ahead and spread out a little bit. Monte, you want to stay with us or you want to go with Mina? Yeah. Okay. So in a parallel stance, feet shoulder width. First movement, preparation. Step up. Press forward, sit back, turn the corner. Grasp the sparrow's tail. Diagonal flying, step up and raise the hand. Bend from the waist, stalk flaps wings, turn toe heel pivot, brush knee 4 times. Form the fist, close the door. Close the door, punch. Infinity sign. Punch again. Leopard and tiger springs the mountain. Neutral position. Fist on the elbow to repulse the monkey. Hold the ball to diagonal flying. Sit back, insert the needle. Fan through the back. Turn. Stroke down. Parry and punch. Step step forward, punch, divert, block, and punch. Cross the arms, leopard and tiger springs to mountain. Palms down, turn. Lift up, carry tiger to the mountain. Turn to the back, cross hands, raise your left hand. Bend from the waist, stork flaps wings. Going to the left side, grasp the sparrow's tail. To the left side, single whip. Flip it over, diagonal flying, stroke down, part the horse's mane. Step up, neutral position, stroke down, part the horse's mane. Sit back, cross corner, forward, back, 1, 2, cross over. Hook your wrists, turn to the front. Single whip, cloud hands. Hold the ball, shift, diagonal flying, right side, close by stepping back, and then reset back to shoulder width stance. Deep breathing, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. So let's go to neutral position, okay? If we press forward and step up to raise the hand, the next movement is stork flaps wings. So you go toward the lower hand and lift up and end up here, okay? So in the back side, when we do the left side, it comes from this cross hand position. Then we lift up, bend from the waist, and you go toward the lower hand, and that helps you determine which way you're going to rotate. Because, you know, by knowing that you're going to turn toward the lower hand, then you don't have to actually think about whether it's clockwise or counterclockwise. So that kind of helps. And when you do that, Steve, when you lift up and you bend down, you don't bend down and then drop the hand and then pick up both hands. You sustain this hand and you bend and you turn and you lift. So if you're like this, then you would bend and then sustain the position. So what does sustaining the position help do? It builds continuity, because you're moving from the point that you left off to the next movement. Otherwise, you're kind of going to a reset. Then you don't know where to start from. But the continuity of that movement actually helps you string the movements together, because you go from one posture to the next, and there's that interim, phase that has to kind of connect those dots. So the end of the posture becomes the beginning of the next, and then it continues to cycle through. How you transition from one posture to the next really depends on your execution. So that's where skill level becomes more important, or skill level becomes something that you start to understand, because you evolve. So if you think about learning, we learn everything the same way. You have to be exposed to it first, and then you have to go through this process trying to memorize, which is part of learning, and understand, which is the other part of learning. Some people memorize things and don't even know why they're doing it, right? Because it's not always necessary. But if you're doing something like this and you want to improve, the most important thing is to understand. So understanding what is it that you're understanding the concept, the principles. Those are what drives your movements to a state of, I don't know, maybe a level of correctness. Whereas if you don't have a principle to guide it, that's what's going to differentiate this type of movement and dance. Because dance, there's not always consciousness or an intent. But because you have an intent in your movement, that ties into functionality. So we don't move just to move, we move for a purpose, and the purpose is to develop functionality. So if you understand that, then you're not going to randomly do things, because functionality is actually pretty systematized. It's, whatever you do that requires a certain amount of skill level with a physical action requires, a specific order to things, and it becomes very, depending on what it is, very refined. So refining, like small motor skill, like in the hands, a lot of people do because, like artists or musicians or jewelers or surgeons, they refine motor skill, but you still have to know why you're refining it, right? So when we're doing something like this, the refinement is even across the whole body, not just refining small motor skill. You don't see the small motor skill when we're doing Tai Chi until you start to manipulate your hands. When you change the hand positions, because every hand position and every finger gesture changes what happens in the rest of your arm, what happens in your toes, and when it's manipulated changes your position in space, right? In other words, if you're like this, if you pick your foot up, then you're on your heel. If you go like this, you go to the ball of your foot, then the type of muscles, the bones all vary in what you're doing. But then even when you bend down to do this, we don't pay attention to it, but if you actually go down slowly and you shift over and you lift up and then you turn back, you would have felt different pressures on the soles of your feet, moving from the sole of your foot to the toe, across from one toe to the other toe, and then across, and then you can feel all that's regulating control. So the idea of movement is really controlling the components of your body, your appendages, controlling your balance, your shifting of weight, controlling your position. So it's a control factor. You have to move every piece of your body to get it to happen. But we can kind of rough it and, mimic what we think we see by not actually moving a lot of parts that could move. So that's really part of understanding how the movement is, because you wouldn't try to activate a part of your body if you didn't know that that's supposed to be part of it. And you can't activate it without the mind being involved, because you can't recruit the correct musculature. So by doing movements over and over again, which is really the other side of what we do when we learn, is to train. And training is just practice. And practice is what they say makes perfect, but the thing is, what is perfect? You don't really know. So that's why understanding makes a difference. And then, you go through this whole process because your body starts to make a transformation by the information that's housed here, and then it alters your action, because getting muscles to work a certain way is recruiting. You have to recruit the right group of muscles to do it, and that becomes more of a sophisticated form of coordination where your whole body is integrated. So anyways, so we'll go from this to the long form, unless there's something in the Tai Chi Paradigm. I just noticed the bend over that was confused, right? Confusing him. Okay, so those are changes, geometric positioning and transition. So you want me to use the mirror or face you? So say we're in a diagonal flying and I shift to here. So every time you hear the word shift, it's taking a position and moving to another position. This is the position where you have more weight on this foot. And eventually at this position you have nothing on this side. It's zero. And you step up. Now we have to move to center to find the right side neutral, vertical elbow, and then we drop the elbow to create the horizontal position. Now when we step up, we relax the shoulder to take the hand to this position. And then you go to shoulder width and you lift and then set to this position, right? So there's a lot of stuff going on there that can't be detected unless your body actually knows what is happening. And the reason for that is because your body doesn't know what it's looking at, or your mind doesn't know what it's looking at, eyes don't know. When you're here and you shift, that's just like in the cloud hands when we do that adjustment, right? When I move in, you see my hand and my leg has merged. When I go to this position, then I end up in the horizontal position. I press forward. Now you see the hand go to here, but it either goes from here to here by doing a physical movement, or you go from here doing it as a transition. So to get it as a transition, you actually have to relax the shoulder and let it descend as your body merges with the arm. Then once you get to this position, you touch down with the toe, and then the hand starts to go up. And then when this hand gets to here, my heel of my palm reset, and my heel of my other foot, the foot going down, become connected. And then when I bend and I turn, I lift up the arm as a function of my body going up, and then I turn my waist to here, and I relax my shoulders and seat my wrists. So I use a few terms there, seating the wrists. That means to produce a little bit of a fold back so that your wrists here folds, and now at this point it creates a structure. So that's your upper hoop structure. So throughout all your transitions, you're moving from vertical to horizontal, geometrically going from triangles to hoops, and then you're also integrating the right and left side as a passive active motion, and you're just differentiating between substantial and insubstantial in the body shift and the weight. And then the differentiating the relationship between the upper and the lower. All of those happen simultaneously or in the course of the action, but we don't know all that stuff is happening until you actually go through this process of letting the body, discover it from the fact that you know that should happen. So that's pretty complex stuff because your brain is actively doing all of this stuff, but it's doing it in a subconscious level because we kind of know that we're supposed to do that and then do the practice, because we're creatures of habit. It goes through that. Now this neutral position and this slanted position like this, if I bring it up like this, then you start to realize that vertical is this, horizontal is this, right? Cross arm like this is a cross hand position. Cross hands are a slanted oblique position, right? So that's a 45 line. So you hear the word oblique, slant diagonally, oblique diagonally. In the form you have oblique direction. So in the corners, those are your obliques. The obliques. Grasp the sparrow's tail on the oblique right side or left side. That's directional oblique. When we slant like this with the arms, we have an oblique here. right? So those are oblique arms. If I'm looking at you square, then I'm parallel to you. If I turn like this, then I have oblique torso. So obliques are just a line of direction, like a vector. But when we move, we have to pass through these directions. I have an oblique body. I'm in a vertical position. I'm in an oblique arm. I'm in a horizontal. I'm in a press position. I'm in a hoop position. I bring my hand down like this because I move forward. I'm in the vertical position. Now I'm an oblique here to get to there. So when you go from horizontal, vertical, vertical, horizontal, you always have to pass through this oblique position. But if I take it to a point where you say, well, I never learned that movement, so how would I know that, right? You wouldn't know that there was an oblique because you've never been exposed to it. But it's not that you've been exposed to it, you didn't understand it. What you didn't understand was that when we went to this position and we did this, you would realize that you went through an oblique. If I stopped here, that's where you would be. If I continued here, that's what you would be. Now you see this hand. Now if I did this hand, there's oblique, right? And there's up, down, and then there's vertical. Your body can only move like this. And then you say, well, I haven't learned the oblique body position. Day one, you turn to the oblique. Right? You pass through. That's an exercise. When you look at this, I say upper hoop, you say, well, I kind of see that in Carry Tiger to the Mountain. Well, you did it on your second exercise, day one, too. And you say, do I move this way or this way? Well, you did it both ways. So all the things that you overlook is because there's a little bit of lack of understanding because you just do it. And why do we just do it? We do it because we copy movement. That's the only way we actually learn in the beginning. It's just a visual thing. Some people say, well, I'm a visual learner. Everybody's a visual learner. But the thing is, you're a visual learner, but are you going to take in more information, just the visuals? Then it becomes, a little bit more complex. Like Mara said, I didn't come here to take, geometry. But the thing is, if you don't understand the circle, the hoop, and the square, and it wasn't like something that that's so new to you, when you're little infants, take triangles and circles and squares and drop them into holes, right? That's one of the things that they do because you learn by shapes and you learn by touch and feel, right? So when we move, we're actually heightening our awareness in putting all those pieces in position. So we're really dealing with that. We're manipulating our skeletal structure to do that. And ultimately, the purpose of movement, really, besides functionality, is circulation. No movement, no circulation. Or poor circulation. So that's why we have to keep going. That's the major thing in prevention of age-related degeneration. So, was that okay? Is that good enough? Yeah. Okay, so we'll go on to the form. Preparation. yeah, to the right heel kick, 2 punches to the ear, right, left, left, right parting leg. Second set of cloud hands, and we're going to turn into the next posture, downward posture. We turn. Last Saturday went through all of these transitions after the cloud hand. So this downward posture, and you step up. This is the only couple of postures that takes us to the big repeat. Golden cockroach stands on one leg, and then we're going to go backwards. Repulse the monkey, it starts to repeat. your third set of cloud hands. Then we go to the next section of the form, which is the palm strikes face and the lotus kicks. And the last piece is the downward posture. Second time. 7 star. Retreat means to step backwards. Ride the tiger. Palm strikes face. Turn. Double lotus. Draw bow to shoot tiger. Step up. Palm strikes face. Turn. Parry and punch. Step up. High pat the horse. Step up. Grasp the sparrow's tail. Then it's back to single whip, because grasp the sparrow's tail, if you haven't figured out by now, it's always leading into single whip. It's like that with many forms. And here's your right diagonal flying to closing. Okay, deep breathing. So one thing about, learning Tai Chi or Kung Fu, it's has lots and lots of different facets. Like with this age group, we have objectives and goals. So, I have to try to teach to that understanding, because, why would we do this for 20, 30, 50, 60 years? How can you get anything out of it? So you have to take it to a level of understanding. So that's, part of, I guess, my mission is not just to teach and, preserve an art form, but to also give enough information about, why and what you're doing. Because when East meets West, there's a lot of, things that are missed. But the thing is, the mystical side of it is what people sometimes are intrigued about. But then when you learn and sit through one of my classes, you're going to say, there's no mysticism to that. It's actually part of science. So, by understanding some of that, all the way down to cellular level, is what I've always, been trying to sort of understand. Because just doing movements, how does all these things happen? So I actually look at anything and everything that actually supports what we do, from the physical side to the mental, to everything that supports it. And for younger people that do this, are they interested in this side of it? No, because they're not actually having any problems on a physical level. So you have to bring in something that they're interested in, and that would be maybe performance skill, maybe athleticism. So you have to understand all of those different facets support what we do, otherwise you'd never survive. Right? So at this point, what we're doing here is, because a lot of us have been here for a couple of decades, we have to realize that there's a lot to this, and the more you do it, the more your body will kind of understand. So, any questions? You want to work on a piece? You want to work on something in the form? I know Beat the Tiger got lost in the shuffle there. It went from Beat the Tiger to Parting Leg. So last time on Saturday, some of you weren't here, but I went through, after the cloud hands, the first set of the kicks. And in the kicks, the first setup is really this motion to this motion, right? So what I brought up on Saturday was all it is reversing the ball. Now sometimes when you see the reversing the ball, you see the hand actually go this way. So that's palm strikes face. So there's reversing the ball is just taking the upper hand and going down, the lower hand coming up. It depends on how the torso is moving with the hand. So if this is switching from this, using this as a setup, and you switch, then there's can be a little bit of turning and then opening the high pat the horse. Now at the end we actually have the same setup, but when we reverse the ball, we twist and then come through the center and turn it into the palm strikes face. So because it's a palm strike face, the technique is different because your direction of movement and the way the hand is turning is a technique. Whereas in this, we're turning, but we're really coming to this position, and that's your high pat the horse. Now we sit back and we flip the hands. That's a reversing, but you're flipping like this, but instead of holding the elbows out, your elbows come in. Because when the elbows are down here, then you can fold to do the cross hand position. And then you level your shoulders or elbows, and you do your first kick. And then you're back to here. And then we're here. We fold the elbows, high pat the horse, flip it over, pull out, fold the elbows, and we do the second kick. Okay, then we do turn into heel kick. But if we're back in this position and we were going to go to beat the tiger, what happens is it's the same motion. Now when we get into this corner, we stay there. The knee is pointing in the corner, you open to the side, and you cross behind like this. Then you bring this hand like you're sort of lifting up to turn to this. Now you drop your elbow because the line is going to the back corner. And you're on this side. Now you turn to your center. Here's your oblique body. And then here's the hand fist. And you sit back and then you bring the toe around toward this direction. And then sit back to here. That's your beat the tiger position. And this hand is alongside your temple. And this hand is actually like this, right? And then we lower the hands. Then we cross the forearms. Then we level the shoulders. And we lift the knee to do the heel kick. Then we go down, we turn the palms up and create two punches to the air. If you open it, all it is upper hook position. We close the hands, we drop this to horizontal, this comes down, and they're both crossed. You flip the hands, you drop your hands to fold, you lift your elbows. Now the knee is here so you can pan out this way, you bring it back around, and then you toe, heel, toe. And meanwhile you're flipping your hands over, the hand comes on top. You fold the elbows go up, knee goes to that corner because we're bringing it back to the center. Then we stroke down, fold the elbow after you invert the hand to parry and punch. Actually, even though the kicks are pretty complex and the series is long, there's nothing in there that's not horizontal, vertical, oblique body position, cross arms, or circular movements. But because we're turning directionally, which our feet are doing, it changes everything. Because it's sort of perception, perspective to spatial awareness. You turn your body, there's an oblique, I'm actually facing that corner. I turn, I'm coming into this position. If I'm here, I'm in here, and I turn back like this. So what changes the direction of your movement is either your hips or your feet. Once you're in your position, you still only have one front and two corners. Doesn't matter if it's here, one front, two corners, one front, two corners, one front, two corners. If you go all the way around, you're in a new front, same two corners. So that's what referencing your body is, because your body only faces one direction, and the direction you face is really where the nose is. So you just follow the nose. There's your center line. You can turn the head, but then you have to turn the body. You turn the body, then you have to turn the head. So, we do the neck exercise not so much just to exercise the neck. It's because we're developing a connection and disconnection. So our joints actually only connect and disconnect. Connecting is that they're working together, and then it could become very rigid. They're all connected. When you disconnect, you fold. You disconnect the wrist, it folds. You disconnect the shoulder, it drops. You disconnect the hip, and it goes like this. So the connecting part of it is sort of when the muscles are resisting it. So what resists movement is tension. So the conflicting side of movement would be tension, because it's fighting your movement. So the battle in your body is that you have to get rid of that tension, let it go, and that happens as a control factor. Over time, things start to get comfortable, because now it understands and it knows, everything else, just kind of will fall in place. So that's about it. He's coming. Okay, ready? Bow up. Salute. Do I feel older?
Are you feeling older?
No, wiser.
You should. It's coming right up.
Oh.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it's around the corner.
It's right up.
Yeah. It's a.
Oh, just another day.
Yeah. Well, it is another year, and I said last year with the pandemic we missed 1 year, so actually you didn't get older than that 1 year.
Oh, that's right. You got credit.
Look at the government says you don't have to work, we just feed you. But, the federal government. They said, hey, they got a new incentive for, they said, well, we gave so much unemployment and incentives for people not to work. Now people don't want to work. So they have a new incentive. If you go back to work and work for 4 weeks, they'll send you $1,200 simply for going back to work. But if you work for 4 weeks and take the $1,200, you can't go back on unemployment. You have to stay and work. Yeah. So